reports of councillor actions and meetings attended. We'll go round. Anyone with a report?
I held a ward on surgery, I guess, on Sunday in the village hall, and there were two main points that have arisen from that. They both relate to parking. So one related to parking with the, I think it was primarily the football club. There was a suggestion saying, and I think this was in relation to parking. Apparently the footpath was completely blocked in a number of areas. So the suggestion was, could the football club put up no parking signs along the road and encourage members to park in the school, and could they double park there, because you would know where, if someone's parked in front of you, you would know where they had come from. And I saw today, I was just reading an article this afternoon, and I don't know, Neil, whether you might know anything about this, but Lillian Greenwood announced that there's new powers for councils to fine pavement parkers, and that's coming out later this year, and there's going to be council enforcement officers, but it didn't say whether the council enforcement officers would be, I'm assuming they won't be parish, but I don't know, district, parish or county. I didn't know if you knew anything. Am I allowed to ask?
I thought what I knew was that was an idea that was wanted, that's had a very low buy-in because of the unpopularity that would cause and the difficulties. So I thought that wasn't going to be proceeding.
Okay, well, the last couple of days,
but I could be wrong.
Apparently it's been announced a couple of days ago that it's going to be coming out later this year. I don't know when later
in
is.
that case, you know better than I do.
Okay, so I'm happy to follow that up if the council are happy for me to do so. And another thing that I wasn't aware of is that there's now airport parking at Barnfield, and airport parkers are taking up residents' parking bays in Barnfield and then jumping on the bus and then not coming back for a couple of weeks. And a resident has asked, is there anything that can be done about this? And it's the first I've heard of it. I mean, I know Takeley has a lot of issues with airport parking, but I haven't heard of it
It's been going on for years
here.
before,
Yeah, well, in Barnfield, I didn't know. I've never heard of it before. So I said I would raise it and see if anyone had any suggestions, and I'm happy to follow it up if there's anything that might be able to be done.
Do they block the roadways into the residents?
No, it's the residents' parking bay.
Yeah. How many people are sitting on one?
How many people have been?
3.
Sounds a lot.
Which I took it as good because there was no complaints, so that was positive. So in the spirit of the council communicating, then it was all a very positive session. And as I say, it's because the lady from Barnfield is not someone I've ever spoken to before. So.
Okay.
On that note, parking, I wouldn't just blame the football club, because from the residents all the way down to the cock,
Yeah, that's fair.
my mum went up with her rollator the other day and we had to walk in the road for 25 yards because residents are now parking their whole cars on the park,
Yeah.
not just halfway.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think we need to put good
Yeah.
notices on the
As a
street
whole, yeah.
from the parish council and say no parking on the park.
It is a problem. The football club have got an issue. They do regularly send out to every team that comes, park in the school, etc. Don't park on the paths.
Yeah.
Definitely don't park on the pedestrian crossings, zigzags, etc. It doesn't help. It's the same. If there's an early kick-off, quite often there's a lot of cars from the Roman Catholic Church on the High Street as well, so that exasperates. But they're both Sunday things. Long-term solution is obviously a car park at the Green.
Yeah.
There is some good news on that. The vehicle entrance has finally got highways approved. Good as for that. That's a big step in the right direction.
Have they officially done that?
We have it in writing, yes, from highway, officially, 100%.
With a certificate.
We have a certificate.
Any chance of seeing?
Can I just ask, Councillor Amber, were those the only two items that was raised?
They're the other items raised, but the residents had the opportunity. They asked me questions and said that if they didn't have the opportunity during the public session when I raised them, but I didn't need to because they've already raised them. So
Nobody asked about the cost to the parish council or residents of the judicial review?
no, they didn't. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So just going, sorry, just going back to the village, the green entrance, when are we likely to use it? Not we, but, you know.
Well, I mean, in terms of being able to use it, it can be used, go in at any time. The
Yeah.
problem is it's wet grass now, so it's not going to be used right now.
Right, okay.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah. At least they.
But
tick the
people
box.
can go in and out,
Mm-hmm.
and the box is all ticked.
It's
It's all safe and they're all
It's
happy.
not open.
The
It's £35,000.
There was a webinar that Councillor Artis, myself, and the clerk attended, Amy. Can't remember when it was now. It was last week, and it was by Essex County Council about the unitary authorities, and in particular their proposal for 3 unitary authorities, which would have us linked to Braintree, linked to Henry. So as in the north of the county for us. They went through various things to justify this. They made some fanciful claims about money being saved, which didn't really add up at all. But then all the proposals are basically doing that. They're saying that they're not actually making one redundant, so that makes you wonder where they're going to find these huge savings that they're claiming.
Levels of management.
Except levels of management, but they claim they're going to save 380 million a year by doing this. And that's the jury's out. It's almost definitely going to happen, and it's in 2 years' time. I wrote a little summary braces of what they did, and included some of the slides, and I'll circulate that to any councillor that wants it.
Just regional committees and working groups.
Actions and meetings attended.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, then yes, we'll be meetings and working groups next. So we're going to go on to that.
Just let you speak, and just activate that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure the planning working group met after the previous meeting, but if you remember, we wrote an objection to the increase in passengers at Stansted, but also more importantly, perhaps, we also wrote an objection to the rather large warehouse scheme, which is on the anyway, the street, yes, which has potentially has considerable impact on traffic along the main Thamesley Road. I mean, we discussed this last time, and so we added in some of the points that Neil mentioned last time as well. Perhaps when I finish, I can ask you if there's an update on that. But also at the meeting, the planning working group approved the local lettings plan matrix that you now have in front of you. So can I ask you, has there been
I'm
an
afraid I don't have an update.
Okay.
I could have looked into it, but I
Okay.
haven't.
Do you know when it's coming up for?
No, I don't. That would have been what I would have been looking into.
Perhaps you can get some feelers on that for us.
There was a planning meeting today, but I'm rather sure it wasn't.
No, it
on
wasn't.
that agenda.
No, I don't believe it was, no.
Okay, the next on the agenda is an update from the clerk, and this is anything else from any other working groups. Okay.
Right, so I had an email from a resident that's a bit of an interesting one. So it's regarding a tree on Dunmow Road. And to give the history, essentially, when Teresa was here, and if you remember, we were going to do tree works on the trees at the green and everywhere, and the tags were stolen, which delayed it, and then the assignment happened, and then it would just sort of fizzle out. Essentially, part of that, there's a tree where the branches fall near to this lady's house, and the agreement, kind of informal agreement that was going on, was that we would be sorting this tree out. It was then delayed because there was a crow's nest in the tree. Obviously, this wasn't on my radar. She's emailed me recently because the last emails were before I started, and she's basically said, you know, can we do it now? And I've sort of gone, oh, okay, you know, I'll have to talk to the councillors, because the trouble is now, that tree is now one of the trees that we don't survey. It wasn't ours anyway, but we were surveying it because it wasn't village green. It would be probably owned by Gosling, I'm assuming. So it's kind of a dilemma now, because we did say we were going to sort it out for her, but now it is basically a private tree causing problems for private residents, and then we'd be using public money to resolve it. So it's kind of balancing the two. I mean, I think, you know, we did say we were going to do it, and it would have happened, but for all the problems that happened with the tree survey. I don't know if you were aware of that at the time. I don't want to say her address publicly, but it was a singular tree on Dunmow Road. I don't know if it was flagged.
Yes, it was.
So, yeah, it's just to bring it up that it is still a problem. I don't know how much it would cost, but, you know, it's rare to get tree surgery that isn't hundreds at least, isn't it? So, you know, it's not insignificant. I don't think it was set precedent really, because it's, you know, it had already been agreed. It's not like it's a fresh inquiry. So yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts really on whether you want me to get quotes to sort the tree out or not.
Yeah, I would say it was always a principle that we adopted, that those trees would be dealt with by the parish council, even though, because the demise of the village green is indeterminate on the plans, we always assume responsibility for those trees. So on the basis that we were given 15 acres of land in the church to refuse to treat the trees along that Dunmow Road. So I've got no problems with making sure that that is made safe.
Is it possible you could forward the details? Because I haven't got any of the
Yeah, I mean,
information.
it's literally the branches keep falling off this tree.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, could you forward, or tell me when it, because I haven't got any information from the previous, so if we could be sent that would be really useful just to take a look through.
Yeah, let me see
If you could email it through, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
So do you want me to at least find out how much it would
Yeah.
cost
Yeah,
to
well,
get
yeah.
it resolved? On that note, the tree survey of the Amleys Path and the wreck happened on Monday, just gone. So I'm waiting to hear back. Obviously it'll take a little bit of time for it to actually do the report, so that's a good one. And it was the contractor that the church used, so thank you Gary for that referral, because they came in as the cheapest quote. And they must have done it before, because they knew. They said, oh, not the village green. I said, no, we don't have that, so they've clearly done it for us before. Yes, I had another email. So I had an email today that I think was intended to be a public question, but I said I'd just raise it during this item. So she's asking, so she says that there have been speed enforcement police officers in Takeley, Hallingbury and Hatfield Heath. They're basically asking why we haven't had it here. And talks about traffic problems obviously that are in the village. So just wanted to bring it on your she's asking councillors to, I think it's things that you already know really, she's saying that I invite councillors to walk this footpath at a certain time today, but I think you're aware that there's traffic issues generally. I mean, that scheme wasn't on, I wasn't aware that was happening. I don't know if anyone else has, if that's happened before, or is it something we're aware of?
I would suggest we find out from the other councils who they liaise with to get that model. That's an opportunity. Does that sound sensible?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I know there's one that they have in the takeaway. Visual experience.
Do we have a speed group? So we used to have that.
We still have.
We still do. Who runs that? Clive.
It's down my road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clive, would he potentially know? If you're like
Well,
liaise with him?
check with Speed Watch.
Right, so, I've asked the Scouts for their annual asbestos report. I'm unsure whether it happened or not, but we need to ask for it and make sure that's been done annually, because although the building isn't ours, we own the land, so when it's something that serious, we need to make sure that's happening. I was going to say the entrance is signed off, and I've asked for the keys back that the contractor's still got. The contractor for the pond and the pedestrian entrance, he's just monitoring the weather at the moment to judge when to get started. So that should be forthcoming. And then my final thing was about finance software that I emailed councillors over the weekend. I've mentioned previously the issues I've been having with the other software that we have, mainly that it keeps crashing while I'm trying to do it, but also just it is a bit cumbersome in how it works. Sorry. With Mark's blessing, I had a bit of a look around to see what other options there are. So this software is called Easy PC Accounts. It wouldn't be my first choice. Scribe would be my first choice, but Scribe is quite expensive. So that might be a thought for in the future. This one, the main benefit of this is they have a 3-month free trial, so that sees us through to the end of the financial year very conveniently. I mean, to give an idea of how much easier it is, I've put in all of the accounts up to December and reconciled all bank accounts in one evening, which is what I've been trying to do since I joined on the other software. So what I've done, I've printed off, all councils have now got a login. Let me know if you have any trouble with it, but you should be able to go in and you can view all sort of reports from any which angle that you want to. I've printed off the main one here, and there's some spares if anyone else wants it. And yeah, so I will keep looking at it. If you any feedback from yourselves as well, I'll ask the company questions, clarifications. The only thing I can't see at the moment is the reserves balance. I'm not sure if that's because ours is negative and therefore it's just not showing it. So I think I've done it manually on this summary, so we've got it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. I think I'm hoping that this one will work out, because my understanding is it's significantly cheaper, and then it's just a decision to be made as to next year whether we switch. Because unfortunately with the other software, you don't really save much money by cancelling it, because the cancellation fee is a year's subscription. So it's unfortunate. But yes, it's just something to consider. So I'll pass these around.
Just ask a quick question. The auditors had some questions on the previous year's AGAR.
Yeah.
Any update on that?
I've been drafting a response to them. I need to get back to them because they only emailed in January, weren't they? I mean, it was due back in September. So it's so behind, aren't they? It was just some minor things where I think some of the staff costs, I think travel expenses were put into the staff costs box when that's the definition of staff costs for the purpose of the AGAR is purely payroll, that is, tax and NI and statutory salary and that sort of thing. So I will, as soon as I get a response from my email, I will circulate it around. But it wasn't anything significant, it was just sort of admin questions.
And you said that it's a year's subscription to cancel the existing one,
Yeah.
so that was about £4 £400. So how much is this prison?
So I'm querying that with them, but where I've heard it was about £10 a month, so about 120. The issue we've got obviously is our precept is inflated next year, and these things are normally based on what the precept is, so I need to check against the new precept how much it'd be. But compared to the others, it's significantly cheaper. It is a bit more basic, but we don't have allotments, we don't really need extra features anyway in that regard, so I think it'll be fine. But that's the advantage of having the full trial, so we can kind of make the most of it for this year and figure it out for next.
As you know, I've had a look at it and thank you for your help with that. I picked up about the reserve, so that's great if we can find a way. And also, we did mention the contingent liabilities where we've agreed something and money hasn't actually been paid over yet.
Yeah.
If there's a way that we can tweak that or they can suggest so that we know, for example, that this much has been agreed, that's gone through, that when we're looking at our budget, we know how much is left available.
Yeah, I will be asking that. For now, I've manually added a commentary on the side. But yes, I'm not, because at the moment, how when I put it in is just as a payment that's happened. I have to put in like what date is the payment, sort of thing. So I don't know if there's a way of putting in a sort of draft payment or something like that. I will find out. If not, it may just be a case of, I do these every month and I just add a commentary from
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. As Amy said, Squire does seem to be the long-term solution, but short-term it would have a lot of costs. So this does seem good way forward for now. Right, highways matters. Is there anything that hasn't already been discussed? Highways matters that we want to bring up?
I was approached by a resident due to the water that's running down Hammond Road again. We did raise it with Councillor Barker before, and the team came out from Highways to review it. Unfortunately, it was incredibly dry when they came, and they didn't think to maybe run a hose pipe or anything. We believe, looking at the pictures, and I've got something sent to me and I can share them, that between Parsons Cottage and going up Hammond Road, virtually up to number 6, which is where I live, the water is running over the top because it looks like the edge of the road is caved in. But I would really like if I can approach Highways to see if they'll come out again and have another look.
Do you want Amy to do it formally from the council?
If that's okay, then I'm quite happy to do it.
Yeah, there's no harm in that.
Okay?
Anything else on highways?
Walking up Hammond's Road, one of the drains is actually blocked, one of the land drains is blocked. So the water's just running over the top of it,
Which side?
from your side.
Outside my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
We've bailed it out,
Yeah.
and my husband put his arm down, and it's clear either way, but then it obviously backs up to our manhole and then runs off the surface the rest of the top. So that was why when council's approved it before, I contacted Highways at that point, but obviously they came at the wrong time of year. And they said they'd come back when budget allowed, but they haven't. So yeah.
Anything else highways?
Did we send the note of interest to the mobile?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't had anything back.
So that's for the mobile BAS.
Yes.
Speed. I'm going to skip this one.
What I want to say about the houses.
Bush End Ward.
The water problem that Bush Enders had was under the old railway bridge.
Oh,
And a number of cars got stuck because you can't actually tell how deep it gets. Well, after a barrage of telephone calls and emails to Highways, eventually they came out and cleared the drain. But it's an ongoing problem, like Hammond's Road. Because where we used to see the old sludge gulpers, you don't see them now, do you? And I've got a drain outside my house, which is I have to keep clear, because, no, anyway, that's bullshit, thanks.
What put on the bridge, like in terms of like a measurement?
Yes, you'd have to have a big pair of willies, that's all, because it's very, very deep, as my car just about made it through.
Could a gauge on the
Yeah,
bridge?
someone not paint one off?
Well,
When it's dry.
What can I say? I mean, it's all right if you've got a Range Rover, and there's a lot of them now, but for an ordinary passenger car, they just don't float through. But anyway, it's sorted now.
We'll make an inquiry to find out what else.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Village ward, is there anything to discuss today on the village ward? Okay, moving on, recreation now, Councillor Beagle, this is yours.
I'll send my report. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me with the repairs to the junior dining frame. Apart from that, no, everything's okay.
No news on that yet?
No,
Okay.
I've emailed them several times. Might send the email to Amy and I'll see if she'll like a bit more clout.
Let's see if we can apply a bit more pressure on it, because it's taking too long. They should just respond. Grants, I don't think we've had any other grant applications, so we'll move on to planning. We've received one planning application. Planning working group, is there anything to say on that? Anyone else got anything to say on that? So no comment from the council. We had an application decided. So I need to invest. Applications decided. So the next thing, I missed out finance, haven't I? Cut finance out. In my copying and pasting on. Killed finance out.
Just the payment schedule.
So there was a payment schedule that was circulated. Apologies for that.
Too much paper.
That was on the original. The payments schedule, no payments for agreement at this meeting. Payments between meetings under the chair stroke clerk powers was the tree pot building for the Christmas tree, which was on the budget that we all previously agreed. And then there's some payments between meetings under previous resolutions or made by direct debit. So there's nothing we actually have to vote on today. What other balances?
So the Lloyd's current is £64,331.29. Unity Trust current account is £47.24. I'll do a transfer to Box for that because there are a couple of direct debits that come out there for the service charges and stuff. And £24,208.53 in the Unity Trust savings. That's a total of £88,587.06.
The other thing to note on the financials, so the public's aware, the clerk's salary goes up annually, and we have missed that, so to bring us in line with the annual pay grade, that would be going up, and there will be some back pay to pay, but the scales are set nationally, we just have to implement them.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
There's, on the payments between meetings under previous resolutions,
Yes.
I have a question about the one to Brackners. Is it okay to ask that now? Because it just says it fees October to December. I haven't seen the invoice, but the one that we paid previously was dated November.
Yeah, so this one, I haven't sent any apologies, I've been ill the last week, I meant to do it before the meeting, so you will get the invoice come round either tomorrow or the day after. I labelled it that because it wasn't, some of the invoices have been for writing the defence or something like that, whereas this was just sort of lots of different things that covered those dates. So I can start, the breakdown will be included with the invoice.
Thank you.
So that hasn't gone out yet, I'll send that round this week.
Thank you. Okay, items for the next agenda. We've got any items for the next agenda? Not already pulled up. Date of the next meeting will be the 11th of February 2026. You haven't changed it at this meeting, I don't think.
I was going to ask that, bearing in mind our next meeting is Wednesday the 11th, and the election is Thursday the 12th. As it's been discussed or suggested that we could review the meeting, I was going to ask if we could delay the February meeting to the following meeting so that the new councillors could join in.
Okay. We can discuss that. Do I have a seconder for that?
It can't be a formal, because it's not on the agenda, I don't think it would need a formal decision on it sometimes.
Okay, so well, we've got to have a way of adjudicating.
I took that as item 26122. I kind of.
It's items for the next agenda rather than this one, I'm sure also.
Oh, it says reviewing the day meetings when councillors join. But well, okay. So I wasn't sure, but I took that as what I thought that might have meant. But it seems that as it's only one day later, that it would be. It would be great if we could just move it back and then they could join in the following week.
That kind of fits with your suggestion, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just, it
I
would
would
need to
be,
be on the agenda to.
yeah, I'd be against that because I've planned things, so I can't,
I'm not useful in the week.
yeah. So I'd rather keep it as it is.
Yeah, if it's just a way it's on the agenda, we would have to put it on as a proposal,
But it's
to
not
formally
like-
change the day.
I'd like to propose it then, please. I think it's sensible.
It's not actually an agenda item to propose. That's something we just wait for clarify.
Just check. There's a short list of things that can be proposed now, being on the agenda.
Well, why not? To be honest with you, I think it's the best way. That's how I learned to swim. Yeah. So I just thought, because it says next meeting unless changed by decision at this meeting, so I thought that was the option to discuss it.
That's what we're just checking.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah. I'm just explaining.
No, it's not on the list unfortunately, so that would have to be on the agenda as an item to then make a decision.
So that needed to be submitted in advance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have an EGM, then if we did have an EGM, then that could be added to that. Cool.
Okay. So we've got the date of the next meeting sorted. Confidential topics. To resolve that. To resolve that under the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960 as extended by Section 100 of the Local Government Act 1962, the public and accredited representatives of newspapers be excluded from the meeting for the following items of business on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in Part 1A of Section 12A of the Local Government Act 1962.